Hi, thanks very much for having me here.
Oh, I think my microphone was missing. Yeah, now you can hear me. So now everyone can hear me. So previously I introduced myself and say hi to everyone. And I'm Mirko, and here we have Julian, and we are going to talk about our survey today. The first topic of today will be the survey we had in the past 2 weeks. So we are switching now to another kind of view where we have two cameras, mine and the Julian one, and my screen, so we can start talking about the survey. So, I think that now everyone can see both me and Julian and the survey if everything worked as expected. Please say hi in the chat if everything is okay. We have the chat.
I can't see your screen, but I'm not sure I'm in the right place to do that.
Yeah. Someone says you can see both of us, so it's working. Nice. So I don't know if you're. Yeah, you can see my screen.
Sorry, that's me. There we go.
So.
Okay, I'm on Twitch now and I can see your screen as well as me, so I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Very small.
Real small.
No, for my eyes. Let me just zoom in on that. Okay.
So maybe we can make it bigger for everyone. Now a little bit bigger.
I'll give that some time to update. Oh, there we go. Yes, it's better.
So, we received 104 replies from the survey,
Nice.
And we found out some interesting things. This is just the recap of everything.
Okay.
So as you can see, well, you leave some two possibilities to people. They are quite fantastic, and we have this just about this reply about how many years are you using Kivy. Someone wrote one space here, one says one plus one here, so it's quite complex to process. So that's why I said before to you, before starting this live, that it's better to see the individual reply, because just 104, not so much. So it's better for us probably to process one per time.
Sure.
But instead we can see the distribution of what you use Kivy for. Most of them are unpublished personal apps. Then we have
Interesting.
A lot of unpublished intra-company apps.
That's where I would have expected it to be. That second category was where I was expecting. Okay, that's interesting.
And then we have just a second. I think we have an issue with this one. Okay. So you can still hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay, and probably people are hearing us better. So then we have school assignments. So great that Kivy is used in schools. Then we have published side projects apps. So 39 out of 104 replies who have a published side project app. and then 27 published and business-grade apps. So
Okay.
a lot of them are also using Kivy for businesses. Then we all
So with this one, they could select more than one option, right? So I imagine
yeah, absolutely.
So we're probably seeing quite a few people who do it for business, but also have some little personal apps on the side. I mean, once you learn Kivy for a professional app, it's a useful tool for just about everything.
Yeah. And as we will see later, while looking at the individual replies, you will see that a lot of people have published side projects apps, but also published business grade apps.
Right.
And also some of them unpublished, a lot of them unpublished personal apps because probably they learning Kivy for their business or for their side projects, and then they are getting it to businesses. So that's great. So then, if you're using Kivy in your company, are we working on TM? Well, most of our users, which are working in a company, are the only one working on the Kivy app. And as an example, that's why I started using Kivy, because I'm a super small team, so I need to do apps for desktop, mobile, which is iOS and Android, and it's just me. So with Kivy is the probably best tool to do that. Then we have, yes, I'm in a team of 10 people, so someone have a team which size range of 10 people. I think no one have a team of 30 people. No. Then someone is a team of 6 people, but meanwhile, 3 years ago, because now is retired. Great for you, you're retired. Okay, which platform do we develop apps with Kivy? I think here Android is the major one. Absolutely. So we have Android, Windows, and then Linux, and then iOS. Oh no, then Raspberry Pi, then iOS, and then macOS.
I'm shocked Raspberry Pi beats macOS and iOS.
A lot of people are using Kivy for Raspberry Pi, and that's why we kept the compatibility for Python 3.7 even in this release. Then someone is looking forward to iOS, FreeBSD, and Yocto. Then, which of these types of apps do you build with Kivy? Well, I'm not staying here to say every result, but I think we have a quite wide distribution because maybe they are most on tools, but I think we can, by looking at that, we can say that people are using Kivy for basically everything, but not for parenting.
Sorry, not for parenting.
Okay.
All right. I have some new roadmap ideas for parenting to try and get that market.
Then which of these
features... just going back to that previous one, what I found interesting there was like tools was the number one there.
Yeah, games tools have basically half the distribution here.
Right. So tools and productivity, which are both very serious items, but games is also 2D games and even 3D games are getting a fair proportion. I guess I see those as quite different about what sort of graphics you want, what sort of visuals would appeal. So that's interesting to me that both of those are rating very highly.
Mm-hmm. And which of these features does your app have? Well, most of them have text single line labels. Yeah. Then a lot of people are using text input with single line fills, and I think we can talk about text input later because it needs a lot of things to be rewritten from scratch, because I have some issues with Android and iOS, but we can talk about that later.
Sure.
Then a lot of people, I didn't expect it, that are using a full screen window. So probably who is using Kivy in Raspberry Pi, they are probably using the full screen window with DRM. So they are showing, I expect they are showing their app at the startup without any interface on Raspberry Pi, so directly from the CLI.
What would Android count as? If you're using Android or iPhone, I mean, would people tick full screen for that?
Yeah, you can pick full screen for that, but usually an app, even on iOS and Android, is still windowed. When you are seeing the status bar, the status bar, is windowed. Well,
sure.
Probably it's just a technical thing, so could be possible that the people flag full screen even if I mean it's windowed. Oh, okay. So then we have Latin characters, but we also have 42% we're using non-Latin characters. And this is a thing to improve. Non-Latin characters, as we know, is a thing to improve. And as we can see, a lot of people are using non-Latin characters.
That is interesting.
Then a lot of people are displaying images. Some is doing playback of audio. Yeah. Not so much recording video with the camera, and I might know why, because we need to improve that. Okay. Also, some people are doing playback from RAM sources for video or real-time streaming. Well, which of these built-in Kivy widgets do your app make use of? Well, I can say almost all the widgets are used, so that's great. Wow. We don't have anything to remove that is not used by anyone. So that's nice.
Carousel, that's remarkable.
What?
I'm looking at some of the ones that surprised me. Carousel, I mean, I thought it'd be used. I didn't think it would be 36% of people would be using it.
I also use Carousel in one of my apps, but not for showing images, for example, but for giving users an experience of scrolling between 2 or 3 notifications, because I have a nice digestion.
Okay, that's fair. I'm just looking at what else. I mean, text input rates highly. That doesn't surprise me at all. Scroll view rates highly. That doesn't surprise me at all. Button, of course, coming out in front, but just looking for anything that surprises me. I guess it's a good sign that everything is being used.
Yeah. Maybe the behaviors I'll use a little bit less, but behaviors are if you need to create something from scratch, so you're probably using a behavior. And as I mentioned, the toggle button behavior is the one of the most used, and also the focus behaviors is one of the most used.
Right.
Yeah.
Emacs, even Emacs. I don't even know what the Emacs behavior is.
I don't know who is using behaviors. Emacs, if you are here in the chat, please say, hey, hi, I'm using Emacs behaviors. But someone is using it, so that's great. So, what Kivy Garden packages do you use, if any? Well, I think that this
just spread out everywhere.
We need that to process later while looking at the individuals. Then, how you design the UI look by yourself? I added this question in order to find out how our community is creating UIs. as I was interested in how people are creating their Kivy code. So they're creating Kivy code by not looking at the reference, or they are looking at the reference and try to mimic that reference via Kivy code. And I think that most of people are even creating things from scratch without previously having created something on a software that could be used for prototyping, for example, Adobe XD or Figma. And 86.5% replies yes by hand. So by hand, I can think this writing on with your pencil, or by creating the Kivy code directly. But
I guess,
yeah.
sorry, I guess one of the advantages of having the .kv files is you can rearrange things relatively quickly. So, I mean, it is good for that sort of prototyping. It's one of the advantages of having to add each element one by one in the Python code and move that around, which I find quite a bit more painful. So it may well be a reflection of that we're seeing a lot of people prototyping straight into KV.
Okay. But we have, I think, how much? 3% of people which are using a dedicated tool like Adobe XD, like I'm doing, because I do not design the app myself, but someone else is doing for me. So someone else works in Adobe XD or Figma, creates the UI, and then I approve this UI, and then I implement this UI in Kivy language. Then we also another 3% all know someone else do that for me. Then the 2% are using KivyMD, so they are not creating their UI look by themselves, but probably just the layout. Then 1% use Figma. Then I use KivyMD and a costume widget to create. Oh, a costume widget? We have a costume widget? Please show it up. Then design UI with Kivy, but sketching actual design, so creating Kivy, the Kivy code by scratch. Copy Figma UI from internet. Well, we have a dedicated tool on designers using Figma for designing. Yeah, this is the mine example basically. And then we have Figma. Okay. Well, I'm not processing what do you feel is missing in Kivy, because as you might see, there are a lot of replies, so we are processing that later in individuals.
Sure.
Same for what we can feel you can improve in Kivy.
Ooh, big list there. Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing those.
In the case we are going to host a live stream to discuss, that was the live stream and not showing emails. So let's get
okay.
up. So let's switch to individuals.
All right. Are we going to see people's email addresses here?
What?
I'm just worried. We're not going to see people's contact details, are we?
Are on the bottom, so I'm not scrolling on the bottom.
Okay.
That's the best fix I have. So, how many years?
I wonder if I'll recognize my entry. Okay, go on.
How many years have you been using Kivy? 10 years. So, an experienced user we have here.
Sure.
And using Kivy for publishing business grade apps.
Okay.
And is in a team of 10 people. And
presumably that's 2 to 10 people. If there was only one of them, they would have clicked to the button above. But okay. All the platforms.
Platforms. All the platforms. And yeah. I might know who he is. We are likely seeing him later in the afternoon.
Okay.
So entertainment, streaming video, movies, TV, entertainment, then health and fitness. Oh, so I'm probably wrong. It's not that person. Sports, sport news and commentary, score tracking, fantasy team management, game coverage. Oh, yeah, is that person because of right on other what he is doing. So we are seeing a talk of him later in the afternoon.
Okay.
Then we should, and he's also one of our sponsors. So great. So it's using almost all the features, but not is not shooting photos with the camera, is not using QR code or real-time analysis, and is not using.
But he is doing video with the camera, so still very much involved with the camera.
Yeah. I think this afternoon we'll ask him.
Okay.
How you are recording video. Lighting charters and non-lighting charter for text is not using, so only single line labels, that makes sense. Is not doing real-time streaming for RAM and source, but is doing a playback for RAM and source. And as expected, is using Windows headless. So as an example, running in RPI without the OS graphical interface. Then is using almost all the Kivy widgets. Yeah, it's a super huge app.
Right.
Okay.
After 10 years, you've visited every corner of Kivy. Okay.
Yeah, not using any Kivy Garden packages, and it's not designed Yes, it is designed the UI look by hand, so likely directly by using the Kivy code. So, what do you feel is missing in Kivy? And while we process these replies, I think me or you, what is better, to write down what are the key points to then later handle issues on GitHub.
I'm happy to write that down. I've got a notepad right next to me.
Oh, nice.
So I'm just writing down a few keywords and perhaps a number of people who have mentioned them, so we get a feel for that. Is that what you're looking for?
What?
I'll write down I can't cut and paste that. It's on the screen for me, but I'll write down the keywords.
Yeah. The keywords and key points. Because then we are
all right.
Later reprocessing everything and creating the proper issues. Because I already read these replies quickly, but I already read these replies.
Sure.
And most of the replies are basically talking and saying the same things for quite a set of issues is quite redundant between replies. So, better integration with mobile platforms, notifications, sensors, and camera record. So, he is using the camera, but ask for a better integration with the camera record, with the emphasis of consistent support across Android and iOS. So we can rely
do you want to discuss what he said in the first one, or they said in the first one first? Like, this is not something I've had a lot of experience with, but the sensors I thought were covered by Plier, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to work out what would be the next step with sensors, for example. Plier, I believe, part of the Kivy family, offers a standard interface for different mobile device sensors.
Mm-hmm.
So what would we do there? What's better integration mean to you?
So better integration, I think, to have, for example, Plier to get working on the recent Android changes, and that really works, because as you might see from our issues, Plier have some kind of issues merely with latest Android releases or latest iOS releases. So yeah, we have a tool which is Player, but at the moment it's quite buggy, and also does not offer all the possibilities. For example, I have both Android and iOS app which uses Bluetooth Low Energy. Bluetooth Low Energy is not a thing in Player, so I had to use PyJnius and PyObjects and create my logic from scratch. If we are able to create something that really works on Player, but the issue with Player is that you have to design a single API for both the platforms, and sometimes this API can't be consistent between two different platforms, because just Apple and Google decide to implement things in two different manners, and so you need something on iOS, but you don't need that thing on Android. So the issue with Player is to write an API that can work with both the platforms. And for example, with Bluetooth Low Energy, if you want to really access all the features that Bluetooth Low Energy gives to you, it's quite hard to create a single API. So maybe we can include and improve Player for simple things, but then when you get into something more complicated, you need to use PyObjects and PyJnius. Well, obviously, we can improve maybe the guides and create, as I said, I think a couple of months ago, some blog post about that. So hey, I did Bluetooth Low Energy with Android and iOS with PyJnius and PyObjects. That's how I did it. So people looking for that in Google and getting to our blog, and the life is definitely easier for them. So back to what do you feel is missing, Kivy? We can rely on the figure being Python Bob place. So then what do you feel we can improve in Kivy? More robust toolchain for building, deploying across all platforms. Better iOS support for building, deploying iOS apps. Not sure if I can use Bulldozer for iOS apps. Well, you can use that, but it's super buggy, so please don't do that. I also say that in conferences, so please just use Kivy iOS. We can work on that, but also because I create iOS apps with Kivy, and its code is super useful too for debugging things. So maybe in Bulldozer we can implement the first part, so the scaffolding part, where you're creating everything, you are building your things without using toolchain, PUI tool, but then Xcode is a super useful tool when you are deploying to your iOS device. So I don't think it's good for our users to just stop and don't use this code, but we can talk about that. Bulldozer can work in virtual environment. Bulldozer can work in virtual environment. So maybe we can check out with him later what are the issues if you have. But that's one of the first topic of today. Building Android and iOS app. As some of you might know, recently PEP 730 and PEP 738, PEP 730 got accepted and is for iOS. And then PEP 738, which is for Android, which is still in draft, but they're working on it, are going to improve things a lot. That doesn't mean that KvDroid and Python for Android are just getting old, but they're going to concentrate on getting things faster for Kivy apps, or everyone else will need to use that, like for example our Qt fellows. But the packaging, which is the building part, if you are going to build to cross compile your dependency, this is likely going to be super duper easier with PEP 730 and PEP 738. And this,
so just to explain those for people who aren't familiar with those PEPs, these are changes being planned in Python itself to make it easier to produce both one PEP for Android and one PEP for iOS. So we will be able to, it won't do the whole thing, we'll be able to then build on that to supply faster, hopefully more robust build tools.
Yeah, because with PEP 730, iOS is going to be an officially supported platform in Python. What it means? It means that we are not going to patch Python for iOS, and the same is going to happen for Android. So we don't need to patch Python. That also means that all the Python community will be aware of mobile platforms, or is going to start to be aware of mobile platforms, and that we are going also to have a name for the wheels. So wheels for iOS and Android are going to be a thing. They are not going to be published on PyP initially, but are a thing. So people can really target iOS or Android devices directly. And Kivy iOS and Python for Android are only going to package these things into an APK or into an app for iOS and build everything else like our dependencies from scratch. So this is going to be easier, and that's why we need to rethink things about Android and iOS regarding KivyOS and Python for Android. So the suggestion is, let's skip to maintain Python for Android and KivyOS, but meanwhile keep an eye on PEP 730 and PEP 738, because this is going to simplify our work a lot. So let's continue. Well, I think we have everything from this individual reply. Then, how many years have been using Kivy? 5. So, still an experienced users. Publish business grade apps. Nice. If you're using Kivy in your company, you're working in a team? Nope, this does not apply to me, so likely a freelancer. Which platform do you develop apps for Kivy? Windows and Android. So only Windows and Android. Communication, education, productivity, and is not using that much features as our previously seen. Text, multi-line text, long text, and text with non-Latin characters.
Non-Latin, okay.
Box layout, button, carousel, screen manager, so a quite simple app, I think. No Kivy Garden packages. Is designed the UI look by himself or herself. What do you feel is missing Kivy? And this is quite redundant. Auto-reload for speed development. So we need to find out how to do that, how we can improve Kaki to do that. I think someone is working on a tool for how to reload, and is also probably joining the live later, so we're going to talk about that. Support Arabic text, so that's another key point. And then we are replies about these talks. Then, third one.
sorry to interrupt. I'm just on the topic of. Sorry, there's a delay. On the topic of the Arabic text, I created an issue which ties together. I know you've seen this. It ties together a number of different issues we have with non-Latin characters.
I've seen that.
Yeah. So just to let people know that this is certainly something that we are thinking about.
Yeah. Later, I think we are going to discuss on what to keep and what to change, and to better support Arabic text when I need to do some changes on our core text providers. Then we have unpublished personal apps, school assignments, unpublished side projects apps. So not business grade, but different kinds of apps. Team of 1 to 10 people, almost all the platforms, but not Raspberry Pi. Then wallpapers, live wallpapers, home screen, lock screen, productivity, and tools. Then images, display images, text input with multi-line fills, labels, recycled box layout, relative layout, so basically your layouts. Then Kivy Garden using frosted glass. Seeing that is quite nice package.
What does that do?
Oh, I will show you and show everyone else. Basically, it's creating something like that. This one.
Oh, okay. So, like a translucent window.
Yeah. Translucent window.
Okay. Does look nice.
Oh, so let's get back to here. Oh, how are you designing are you designing the UI look by yourself? Yes, but use Figma.
Figma, okay.
So, what do you feel is missing in Kivy? Less developers. Oh, less developers.
Less developers.
It wants less developers.
I suspect they want more developers. Although less developers make life easier.
I think it's hire more developers using Kivy, using Kivy Open Collective Funds.
I see that as 2 steps. First, get enough Open Collective Funds to hire new developers.
Yeah. In the case we're going, so live stream only replies with emails with we don't know to show. Then, another experienced developer, 10 years using Kivy, and basically did everything. So, unpublished personal apps, unpublished intercompany apps, school assignments, published side project apps, everything. But is likely a freelancer because it's the only one working with the Kivy app, or works in a team, but is only the one which is working on Kivy app. Almost all the platforms, but not Raspberry Pi. Health and fitness, libraries and demo, medical, drug and clinical references. So it's likely another of our sponsors. Camera shoots photo, display images, use text with single line labels, using text with multi-line long text, Latin charters, no Latin charters, single line fields, multi-line fields, playback, full screen. So basically everything, but does not record video and does not use audio features. Handle layout, box layout, file layout, so layouts basically. No Kivy Garden packages. Design the UI look by hand. And what do you feel is making in Kivy? Modern widgets. Modern widgets, I think, modern look for widgets. We need to get closer to frameworks like Flutter. Yeah, why not? but by keeping a distance from Flutter.
So I'm going to admit I've not used Flutter. I've seen it discussed a number of times on the Discord. In like 25 words or less, what's Flutter?
Well, let's say the first thing is baked by Google.
Oh, okay.
So they certainly have a workforce that we do not have,
Sure.
is a framework used for creating apps, cross-platform apps from all the major tech companies, I think. So Flutter is quite widely used. And one thing of Flutter is that they have a quite extensive documentation and examples, because basically they have the workforce that Google has.
Sure, they can hire a documentation team of 10 people.
They can hire DevRel people. They can hire advocate developers, so a lot of things. Then, sometimes I forgot to not scroll down. How many years they've been using Kivy? 5, so another quite experienced developer with unpublished personal apps, published side project apps, and published apps but focused on self-usage. Okay. Does not apply to him. Platforms.
Interesting. Why would you publish? All right, go on. I mean, I've done apps for me, but I wouldn't publish them.
Maybe he or she have a lot of devices and need this app on
Sure.
devices. I don't know.
Or maybe hopeful that one day other people will also like it.
Yeah. Linux, iOS, Android, and Raspberry Pi. So I expect most of likely iOS and Android app with a version for Raspberry Pi which is inserted in the box. I don't know. Education, house and home, music and audio, productivity, also a quite wide range of types. Using audio playback, shooting photos, QR code real-time analysis, displaying images, single line labels, multi-line, so almost everything. Yeah, we have Windows headless, so running PI without everything else. Box layout, button, so all the major widgets. Then, you design the UI look by yourself? Yes, by hand. Do you feel is missing in Kivy? Visual UI designer.
Okay.
Well, that's another kind of project. It's a project on its own, UI designer. If you want to do that, you're free to do so. But I think it's going to be hard to create a visual UI designer while also working on Kivy. And I don't know if you use the other kind of visual UI designers. You do not have all the possibilities you have just by writing code. So maybe something super easy just to start that maybe could be fixed by having some examples, maybe. But yeah, what do you feel we can improve in Kivy?
So just going back to the previous one, what's Forms Django style?
I don't know. I expect creating a form just well, I don't use Django for web development. I use other tools for web development.
So it sounds like some sort of form. I don't know whether it's a layout or behavior or widget that's being requested there.
Yeah, I think probably an auto generator where you say, I have this field, which is text. Then I have this string, this field, which is date time, and etc. etc.
Sure.
So maybe then the font gets automatically created, because I know Django is quite popular for creating things just by using a couple of lines.
Sure.
Then, what do you feel we can improve in Kivy? Audio subsystem is very laggy. It's okay for simple audio play, but cannot be used in time-critical scenarios. In some phones with Android, some Xiaomi inputs can be changed. It would be nice to allow some low-level SDL coding, audio, video input stuff. Yes, we can leverage SDL3 changes, but allowing low-level SDL coding, well, is possible, but you have to write Python code. But we can discuss about that if it's needed.
Do you mind going back to the inputs cannot be changed business? I didn't quite understand what inputs can't be changed.
I think it's talking about audio inputs, because it's talking about audio subsystem, okay. So audio inputs, I think. So if you're working on audio specifically and seeing this live stream, please maybe say something on the chat so we can better know about the audio subsystem, because in past I did audio apps, real-time audio apps with Kivy, but I used a MIDI player, so without having to use the audio subsystem from SDL.
Right. The other alternative is, if it's a very complicated story, go ahead and create an issue on GitHub with a description of what your new feature might be. Feature request.
Absolutely. Damn. We likely need to be quite fast.
Okay.
1 year. Working on a broiler controller and using Kivy for the controller in the client.
Ooh.
Yes, in a team of 110 people. Which platform do you develop apps for Kivy? Almost all the platforms. Industrial automation, recording, shooting photo, record video, lighting charters, playback from local file, real-time streaming from a source, and full screen. Almost all the major widgets. What Kivy Garden package do you use, if any? Graphs. This is a nice Kivy Garden package. Is using Kivy MD. Oh, what do you feel is missing in Kivy? Speed and better documentation in source code in the website. I agree with the better documentation. We can do better. Speed and better. Again, what do you feel we can improve in Kivy? Speed and better documentation. Okay, then. So documentation is a key point. How many years I've been using Kivy, but it's not just for Kivy 3.0.0, but for the future. Unplayability person apps, inter-company apps, the only one working the apps, links, Windows, Android, events, health and fitness, house and home, productivity, playback audio. A lot of people are doing playback audio. A lot of widgets by hand.
Right.
What do you feel is missing in Kivy? I'm going quite fast to what do you feel is
missing. Sure,
no,
I understand.
We can improve those. Is the most important part. So a web viewer and a widget for a browser. Well, it's doable, because I did a proof of concept even on iOS, but you have to be sure that, let's talk about OpenGL and layouts and layers. You can show the browser, for example, on iOS on top of your Kivy app. So you can create an area where the browser needs to be shown, but no, you can't place Kivy widgets on top of the browser, and this
No.
is an Apple restriction because they ask you to use the VK web view, which is not possible to integrate into an OpenGL app. I don't know if we can have a metal layer to mix it into OpenGL. We can check that. But for other platforms, this is possible. You had something to say, Julian?
No. I was just agreeing that if you have a browser, you can't put widgets just in the website. That's not going to make sense. So I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah. Then, when setting one thing, it affects on one other. Like when setting the left, even not setting the center, it calcs that. So we can use animation with them. When setting one thing, it affects one other. Like when setting the left, even not setting the center, it calcs that. So we can use animation from them. Can you help me, Julian?
I'm not sure I can. It sounds like
I think
they
about
want to animate. They want to animate something by having it adjust the left setting and have it calculate all the other items. I would have thought that works already.
That could be. Please again, if you are the header of this one, please get into the chat. But meanwhile, I see someone is okay. So we have someone from the chat is saying, I'm working on the audio app as well, still flaky here in development. Okay, so not useful at the moment. And I think the person is misunderstanding layout use case. Yeah, I can go. I likely agree, but maybe he's using animations and but just maybe need a better documentation. So,
as someone who's frequently misunderstands the layout use case, I can understand that.
It may be some timing issues with reference properties. Oh, okay. Next, 3 years unpublished personal apps, Windows, Android, music and audio, photography, productivity, tools, box layout, button, checkbox, image.
I'm thinking this might be me.
No letting language
Was
support.
that nice? That's me. I wrote this.
Okay, it's you. So we are going to the next one.
Okay, sure.
How many years? 4? No, I'm the only one working Kivy app. Linux, Windows, and Raspberry Pi, so not Apple platforms. Books and references, libraries and demos. Oh, all the widgets. Matplotlib and Kivy-Plot.
Wow, that's going to be a very complicated looking app.
Yeah. What do you feel is missing, Kivy? More widgets. What do you feel we can improve in Kivy? Performance, speed, reduce app launch time, and Android performance. As someone suggested in dev channel, Android performance could also be improved by using Angle, and we are talking about Angle later. How many years have been using Kivy? 0.5, so quite new. Only on Windows. Yes, but nothing I can think of and nothing I can think of. So nothing to improve.
Perfect.
Perfect. Next one. Linux, Windows. Meanwhile, we have I've found it's possible to get low latency audio playback, but you have to force SDL. The other providers can be pretty laggy. Yeah, could be possible. And as an example, I was using directly the audio provider from Android, which was accessible, if I remind, from SDL. Education, finance, then text single line labels, no lighting shorters, single line fields, and window it. Not so many widgets. I use Matplotlib, but thinking about learning graph later.
Okay.
Yes, by hand. What do you feel is missing, Kivy? A tool of conversion to APK. But we have Python for Android.
So tick done. You'll find that on GitHub now.
What do you feel we can improve in Kivy? Upgrade design like KivyMD and KivyMD did. Yep, we can do that. So upgrade design, and someone later said without using images, which is also a nice suggestion.
So I'm not familiar with a KivyMD. What's a KivyMD?
I think it's async KivyMD.
Oh, well, that presumably looks identical.
Async.
Yeah. Modern look widgets ×2.
Travel and local.
Awesome, KivyMD. Thank you to play.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Felipe. Is Kivy getting new sponsors? Nope at the moment, but I've just had an email this night from Microsoft, and they're giving to us a quite huge allowance on Azure. So we are going to use Azure to speed up our CI/CD, and we are going to use Azure for Windows ARM64 development. Because yeah, Microsoft has been quite generous with Azure. We are going to announce that later when everything is completed, but yeah, thank you, Microsoft. Images, display images, text input, code input. What do you feel is missing, Kivy? UI designer? Again. Propose more complete example to show typical templates. Yeah, examples, templates are great. Then 7 years, almost all the platform, but not Apple ones. Comics, communication, education, almost all the features, almost all the widgets. Yes, by hand.
How do they have so much time to read all those widget documentation?
Some good modern themes, as Kivy has its own look. Its look outdated compared to current host UI tooling around Kivy. Yeah, okay. So fix the outdated look.
So do you mind spending just a minute on that? To me, the answer to that is Kivy itself doesn't need to do that. It's KivyMD and Kivy Garden and all sorts of new widgets that could be added. Am I being unfair? I don't see that as a core Kivy framework issue. I see that as a let's go and add some more widgets that look nicer.
I think that what we can do is to just start not using images to create the widget look. My idea is to create a flat widget, flat kind of widget, so that later people can improve by using tools like KivyMD, but maybe without making life so hard for them, or by having Kivy garden packages that change the UI look. So what I think is not going to include by default a lot of custom super fancy themes, but just keeping it simple so we can have garden packages or KivyMD or everyone else to take care of that.
Right.
So it will be an option.
It sounds like we have a similar idea of Kivy framework should be the core, and it should make it easy for other people to add those extensions so they can make it look as pretty as they like.
Yeah, what we can do is removing the images, so and keeping it flat, so it's also can look nice, but without looking outdated. Then there's an example. I don't know if you know about Tailwind UI. Tailwind UI is a CSS framework for for the web, and have a quite simple and flat kind of widgets if you are adding the widgets, because by default does not have any widgets, unlike some of their competitors. So what do you feel we can improve in Kivy? Improving start time, yeah. Better docs, still agree. Some UI themes to choose from, and this could be possible by garden packages, but we can document that. Better tutorials, somehow lowering entry bar for new developers, yes, and making Android development easier. Okay, then we have someone from the chat which is saying another vote for upgraded image-less widgets design. Surely themes is the core issue. I agree with Julian. Kivy should focus on speed and performance and provide a good base widget to build upon. KvMD is already doing a great job at the UI part. So what I say is basically maybe making things a little less harder for them. And I'm all for keeping it simple and providing good base for widgets, but I think they should still look good to start with. What about an easy way to swap out the Kivy style.kv and theme images? Maybe include a couple different ones by default. Well, couple different ones could be possible. Be a super basic one and one with some colors, but without using images. But we can work on it.
Sure.
So 7 years, Windows and Android, productivity, displaying images, a lot of widgets.
I Ching predictions, all right?
Yeah, I think it's the name of one app on the store. Yes, by hand, and a simple way to compile an Android executable for distribution from Windows.
From Windows.
From Windows.
For those who don't know, I have been working on making Bulldozer work better on Windows. But the trouble is that's a dead end, because Bulldozer only works by running Xcode or running Python for Android, and both of those are a long way at the moment from running on Windows. So it was a futile effort. I understand that, but my motto was, it's probably not going to happen in my lifetime, but if I can make it happen in my grandchildren's lifetime, that's all I'm asking for. It's going to be a long project.
And again, what do you think we can improve? A simple way to compile an executable for distribution for Windows. So we heard that.
There have been some other suggestions about how that might work using virtual machines, which again might appear in the roadmap, and I'm excited by if it does.
And then 2 years on publishing personal apps. Windows, Linux, and Android. Yeah. then yesterday. Oh. So the on-release on-press argument is missing in the arguments of the button constructor. The ability to attach widgets to the layout in the constructor, and for myself decided to not use files Kivy-Lang, and such problem bother me. Personally, I have problems with Bulldozer when trying to use multiple files, and sometimes doubt that it works at all. Although working APKs remind me is not the case. When you set the pictures with the background of the buttons, if the size doesn't match, it loses a lot in quality. Kivy uses 3D with difficulty, but the result is obtained as from the normal 3D documentation. There are great lack of functionality out of the box. I wish you good luck in terms of developing the framework. So maybe
there's a big list there. I don't know what to write down from it. The on-release, on-press argument, there has been a lot of work being done recently in this area. So I wonder if this is going to be something that gets fixed shortly anyway. I'm trying to remember who was doing it.
Well, on-release, on-press argument is missing from the arguments, the Buxton constructor. Yeah, I think that now we have the arguments in Buxton constructor, or it probably well, likely not from the Kivy file. Yeah, likely not from the Kivy file, so they have to bind it, but it's quite normal and is by API, and API is like that. So you don't have to use on-IDs on-press, but you have to bind it later. I think it's something like that. So you can just pass your callback in the constructor, but you can do that later. So like something like that. Then Kivy uses 3D with the difficulty. Well, Kivy is likely, at least at the moment, not the best tool if you have to do 3D things. If you have to do 3D games. Even if we have a package named Kivy 3D, which is making that kind of like possible. Next. 5 years, so my experiences, publishes the projects up, then Linux, Android, tools, a lot of features, a lot of widgets. What do you feel is missing in Kivy? A better GUI framework integrated like KivyMD could be in 3.0 version. Well, as said before, we can improve things, but leave the ability to KivyMD or other tool widget repos to better integrate it. What do you feel we can improve in Kivy? Performance. And this is another key point, and we need to see how to improve that performance. Publishes side personal web, Linux, Android, tools.
Philippe says we should create repository template that have a GitHub action that builds a simple Kivy app for all platforms. Yes, I'll jot that down. The idea that there's a GitHub action.
Yeah, GitHub action that builds simple Kivy app for all the platforms.
I know it gets messy with Xcode and Macintosh or Mac OS and GitHub, but
that works fine.
It works. Okay.
Yeah. What do you feel is missing in Kivy? Nothing. What do you feel we can improve in Kivy? Nothing. Wonderful.
Okay. Well, nice. I think we should take their advice and just do nothing. Just stop here.
So I'm publishing, but soon we'll be publishing. People had a web-based service for packaging. Sometimes I switch back to the chat. Tito had a web-based service for packaging back in the days. It didn't stay up long through. Yeah, someone talked about this service. I think when I met T-Shirt Man in Amsterdam, I talked about this tool, but then the issue was that it was impractical to maintain for long term due to the costs. So maybe if it's needed, we can work with someone like Microsoft to improve things. But I think GitHub Actions is enough because runs on GitHub. Maybe we can also have a version for GitLab, but you have your own runners and you are running your code in a trusted platform. So creating something from scratch maybe is not something.
So just to go over that history, there was the Kivy Launcher, I think it was called, which was an app that you could install from like Google's Play Store. That stopped working. Then there was an attempt to rebuild it, and I think that repository is still part of the Kivy family, but that stalled. It never got finished. That stalled. So if you are feeling super keen and want to try and get onto that and restore it, bring it back up to speed, go right ahead. But as you say, GitHub Actions might well be
well, the launcher could be something to kickstart newcomers. So we can give something for them to place on their device and start seeing the results. But yeah, if we have GitHub action that runs, the creator builds the app, maybe it is not needed anymore.
Yeah.
So what platform you develop apps? Android and looking forward to iOS.
Okay.
Events, travel and local, QR code, display images, single line labels, multi-line, a lot of widgets, and then what Kivy garden pages do you use, if any? Map view and ZBark. Nice. And yes, by using dedicated tool like Adobe XD. And what do you think is missing, Kivy? Hot reload on mobile.
There we go. Relauncher again. Yeah.
I agree. And up starting speed. We can improve up starting speed.
Yeah.
So one big thing to work on is auto reload. How many years I've been using Kivy? 8 business grade apps.
Sorry, just to interrupt. I'm looking at the number that we've done and how long it's taken us. So it's gonna take far too long to go through all of these. If we are only going to do some of them, we should probably make sure we do some of the later ones as well, because I suspect the first people to submit were the ones who hang around on the Discord a lot and are super keen Kivy people. We should make sure we get some of the later ones just to sample them too.
So we're just switching to what do you feel is missing, going quite fast.
Yep.
Getting correctly? Okay.
Yeah.
So, transparent overlay support for Raspberry Pi 4. Okay. But we need to work on Raspberry Pi 4. It's pretty good already for my use case. Support for KMS, DRM overlays or competitive video playback on Raspberry Pi will be fully complete for me. We have support for KMS, DRM, but not overlays. Okay. Then ability to run accelerated on other platforms, as an example, Rock Pi. This is probably possible with Angle, I think, and better accelerated graphics. So it's personally probably using Kivy in embedded platforms. Then next one. Who has GI rich text editor widget and display? So
another IDE. Yeah.
A rich text editor. And add themes, more varieties.
Oh wait, a rich text editor. Don't we already have rich text editors?
Yeah, but not with bold, italic,
we don't have that. Okay.
options, so something like that.
Yep, sounds like a good request then.
Add themes, more varieties, choices, and widget appearance. So again, themes.
Yep.
web view for desktop, and anti-aliasing, speed, and web view. So web view for a desktop might be possible. What do you feel missing? Nothing. Great. Okay, some sort of hot reload ability like Flutter, again, so hot reload. Kivy is limited to Python, so the knowledge and skills of Kivy language can be used with other popular programming languages. Yeah. Improve the installation instruction. There are many challenges when installing Kivy on WSL. Allowing some sort of HTML and CSS into equivalent Kivy lang converter for simple UI components. Adding functionalities to support separate functions for stylus, erase, and select buttons. Fix issues that cause Kivy console loading to fail. We have issues. Even the Kivy getting started guide apps are unable to load the Kivy console. I don't know, maybe this person have a specific issue with Kivy console. Please reach out to us and we will look at it. Add video tutorials on documentation and user guides. Drag and drop facility for simple UI components like buttons and labels for design Kivy UI for some dedicated editor. So again, an editor for UI components. Then
those are the components, not just for. Okay.
Plotters, more beauty and with more functionalities and 3D models widgets. Textures, functionalities to improve the image usage.
Textures.
So maybe sharing the textures. Customizable Kivy UIX video player, but separating its content to user-defined widgets. Yes. You can use video at the moment and creating your own controls widgets, but I get it. Tutorial for efficient code on the internet, YouTube, for you find codes that work but are not very clean. They not use the interesting tools Kivy gives to us. So again, customization on video player. What do you feel is missing, Kivy? In EDA?
Yep.
Design. We can improve design. Debugging steps are a waste of time. Bulldozer must work in Windows. I hate to use Kivy because of that. Sorry. Debugging must be simplified. Hot reload for mobile or maybe an emulator. Bulldozer must work on Windows and Bulldozer must be faster. Bulldozer faster means to have pre-built binaries. Bulldozer on Windows is Julian's dream.
Yeah, but I'd point again to Xcode and Python for Android being the blockages there, and it's not going to be a simple fix.
Built-in or third-party graphical editor. I need to see what it will look like on the device without a recompilation. Make this the default behavior. Kivy lazy loading template.
Lazy loading template.
Then, what do you feel is missing in Kivy? Push notifications. Well, I'm using push notifications in Kivy with one signal, I think. So it is an external service. You have to set up into your app, but you can use it. This is a nice tutorial from Dirk Sandberg, but we can include that into our blog posts. Then what do you feel we can improve in Kivy? Kivy video and video player and async image.
We have async image, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Better integration with Android iOS toolchains. And integration with KivyMD or a clone of it. Oh, why cloning KivyMD? KivyMD is quite nice, so yeah, we can make life easier for tools like KivyMD.
I'm not sure what better integration with the toolchains is.
I think having more recipes.
More recipes.
I translated to having more recipes and more support to more packages.
Sure. I have lots of ideas about how.
Someone in the chat is saying recipes and native API.
Okay.
What do you feel is missing in Kivy? Kivy-based mobile ads. And the clock features become offset based on the program runtime. We already have an issue like that on GitHub. And we likely take advantage of some recent changes in Python to improve that. So we are already on it. Then either support for KVM files and code completion, create and need a plugin, PyCharm. Okay, we already have a plugin for Visual Studio Code.
Oh, okay.
How many years have been using Kivy 3? What do you feel is missing in Kivy? A paging widget.
Paging widget.
That makes sense. And what do you feel we can improve in Kivy? A recycle view. A lot of work to get it functioning. Well, maybe we can improve the documentation. Because I see a lot of people have issues using recycle view. Because maybe the documentation and the examples are not quite clear. So yeah. You, Julian? No.
Oh yeah. I gave up at one point. Yeah.
There are differences in Kivy development. For example, image collision detection collide point is not sensitive and runs slowly. There are some extensions for Kivy like KeyEvent to run. This thing for game development takes care of that. I think reducing the load time of the application is the most important issue. User does not expect an application that doesn't open in 10 seconds. So 10 seconds are too much. For example, so maybe if you are this person and your application is waiting for 10 seconds, consider using a lazy loading. For example, the bundle.so file is very large. By closing some packages from Bulldozer, some packages such as SQLite can be closed, but not essential packages should be closed. I think closed, so removed. There are also the problem of loading some files. When you try to load 6, 7 sound files at the same time with sound loader, you have to wait 10 seconds. Since I'm developing games, game sounds are disabled, I need to install most of them at the same time. Okay, so improving the load time of sounds. Oh, anti-aliasing. Warnings or exception when setting a parameter has no effect. Labels or positioning is difficult to get it right and involves trial and error. You shouldn't be allowed to set the pause parameter on a widget that is in a stack layout. Also, you shouldn't be allowed to set a pause parameter if it's overrode by pausing. Okay, so maybe a better error and warnings. They are saying, hey, you are likely doing something wrong. And yeah. Meanwhile, switching on the chat, there are plugins for PyCharm, but they don't highlight Kivy-lang in a string. Not sure if that's even possible. Okay. Then, White libraries, not frameworks. Python is such a rich ecosystem with a lot of tutorial on how to solve any problem. For example, Python login mode was a great addition for us. Maybe even things like the Kivy setting file chooser could be moved out of the core library. We ended up implementing custom progress bars, checkbox, toggle switches, as it was cleaner to get the styling and behavior we wanted. So if we have cleaner widgets, all these people have an easier life. These things are also easy in Kivy. It's really great. The folding widgets shouldn't use border images anymore. I agree. Either someone will update the full style with some KvMD stuff maybe. The virtual keyboard requires you to push shift while typing a letter with like a physical keyboard. These behaviors makes no sense for touch. Okay. There was a bug in the Kivy parser where you cannot have a comment after context instruction. This is a sharp edge for beginners. There was a bug in Kivy parser. Okay.
I don't say there was a bug there. It still works that way, right?
There was a bug in the Kivy parser where you cannot have a comment after context instruction.
The way I'm reading that in a couple of places, one was the bulldozer file and the other is in the KvLang file. If you put a hash symbol after where a string goes, it's part of the string.
Oh, yeah. Get it.
So I don't think that's been removed. I think that's still a sharp edge for beginners.
Yeah. Get it. It's like Canvas from the chat. It's like Canvas hashtag comment with a question in some cases. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. The warnings are a good idea. I've seen a lot of folks trying to use positive box layout similar, or trying to guess size while size is active. So more warnings. Then project capture templates, more automation for iOS deployments, many manual steps in Xcode, some implementation of control structure in KivyLang, take advantage of other framework structures way of doing things. As example, Vue.js control structures, Django public architecture. KivyLang looks a bit like CSS, but offers much less flexibility. Sometimes more flexibility than CSS. I can say another thing. It could be made more like CSS. Okay. Team support. I think is by removing stuff in more important other features, but and cross-platform RTL text support and add cross-platform audio accelerated video rendering, add multi-window support, add general data models, add multi-threading support embedded browser and export faster. So a lot of things.
A lot of things.
But
I'm hoping I can get a
RTL. I'm all in for it. Cross-platform audio accelerated video rendering, all for it. I'm testing some things on Metal, and all multi-view, multi-window support. That's quite hard.
For what it's worth, I've simulated multi-window support by using multi-processing to start a whole second Kivy. I don't know whether that's going to suit a lot of people, but that's one way to solve it.
Yeah. Fix import side effects, remove automatic loading of Kivy files, delete most of the example and develop better and more relevant ones, focusing on complete applications. Fix config system, start with deleting config property. In fact, delete everything related to config parser, JSON panels, and Kivy UX settings. Instead, put an event dispatcher with properties in app config. I add some usable form layout tools, refactor all the gesture stuff with a proper system, need global gesture detection composable, local detection, matrix DPI stuff dynamic at runtime. DPI is already dynamic, for example, macOS. Fix the provider system, enumerate available devices in one system, and make the provider selection process countable. So, for example, one camera can explicitly specify to use OpenCV. So different widgets, different core providers. Okay, So for example, the virtual keyboard system is confusing. Kivy struggles with some soft keyboards on mobile platforms. This is super, and it's another key point. And I already have a proof of concept about that, which is sitting down since 6 months, I think. Fixed motion event dispatching protocol. I'll touch you this stuff in scroll view. I need sleep tonight. Oh, I also need sleep tonight. And finally, my personal opinion, I moved Kivy Garden, I moved non-vital widgets from Kivy UIX. Put the import still usable stuff in Kivy content and make on the workbench contribution, deprecate and remove thing fixing for behind development. Well, as we've seen previously, a lot of people are already using all our widgets to are quite built up for them, I think. But we can check it out if something really is really rusty and need to be removed.
Yeah.
So
I'm hoping I can get access to this this data, because I'm typing stuff in, but there's no way.
We'll share it to you.
Sure.
Default the box component like in KVMD, built to mobile Android plus iOS. Well, okay. Simple features like selecting label text. Yeah, selecting label text. This is a key point. We need that. A lot of people are asking why people can't select text from my Kivy app, like it's doing, for example, in the browser. So this is something that I think is super important.
I understand, but at the same time, a native Windows app, I couldn't select the. Can I? I don't know. I thought I couldn't select.
Well, yes, it is. I think it can.
You can. Okay, all right. Then my argument is moot.
The default values of widget attributes such as site ends seem not very useful and are tedious to override too often. More documentation around how to make custom widget styles too for debugging widgets layouts and placement issues. So far, Kivy seems to be able to do everything I need to configure it out. No need more example and tutorials. No, again. Sorry if I'm starting to go quite fast, but
no, you.
I have to.
Can't go forever.
Because we have someone from the backstage who is going to be added here later because he's going to talk about his project. Hi, Ken.
Perhaps what we should be doing now then is just sampling this, doing the rest under less time pressure.
We're doing that later. So we're just. Okay. I think we can continue until 11 p.m.
Okay, so another 10-15 minutes.
10-15 minutes.
I'd love to see some of them at the later end. Entry 100 and 102 rather than.
I can hear you. Okay. Meanwhile, Kengun, are you still here? Can you say hi in the chat if you are here and you are ready for 11? Kivy for web PyJnius. Yeah, we can check it. And I want Kivy 3.0.0 to be available on PyJnius. Be able to configure the version of OpenGL using native text input of each platform. Both of them are something is going to be available on Kivy 3.0.0 due to Angle and the native text input proof of concept that I have.
Love it.
Haven't come across anything yet, then would you feel it can improve performance? Higher frame rates and multi-threading for the UI. better documentation on pages and bindings.
Pages and bindings.
Okay. Hot reload, smoothness, type annotations, maybe LSP server for Kivy language, default UI, more integration with all platforms, for example, Robot Flat Camera for Kivy, reduce APK build time when using Bulldozer, so a better camera and default UI. GUI design tool. I know it will be a major project on its own, and you're right.
Yeah.
Better handling of the widget placement and layout, which is often a bit of trial and error side position. We have explicitly unloading Kivy objects. A tool to see, inspect performance bottleneck in complex UX. Text input isn't perfect, selecting slow and doesn't work well on Android. Some manufacturer Android virtual keyboards doesn't work well, so it's the same exact issue of 2 replies. There you go. So by using native text input, this will not be an issue anymore. Basic gadgets, PDF viewer, web viewer, Matplotlib hover. More basic gadgets make it easy to package. And proper modern background notification system, and again notification system, so maybe not push notification but a notification system, which is quite different. Many basic widgets, PDF viewer, the same as the previous one. Proper date picker. A date picker. That's missing. What we can improve? Documentation. Fast widget creation. Fast widget creation is really its only gripe. I've just banned Kivy because, oh sorry for that, because widgets are created so slowly in large numbers. Right, you can use recycle views to do that. Yeah, I think we already have background notification we apply Techion. So maybe we can check it out if it really works fine. You have something to say about that? Better documentation again. So again, a better documentation.
That's a bit open, yep.
What do you feel is missing? Not sure. And more frequent, smaller update to show it's alive. Well, we need to improve our task list for releasing Kivy. We expected to release Kivy today. It's going to tomorrow because today we are doing the live. And if you check it out, the Kivy release issue, it's quite long to process. So yeah, we should keep it more simple.
I guess coming back to this particular point, if you, as I have been in the last couple of months, watching the PRs and issues being closed, there have been, I mean, there's constant progress there. And then you'll see someone in Discord saying, oh, there's no progress here. It's like, look, it's like the duck's legs under the water, scrabbling like mad. If you look, you can see there's lots of activity happening. Yeah. Just PyPy doesn't get to see it very often.
Yeah.
PyPI.
Yeah, and we also currently release for our Ubuntu and our Kivy.app. It's sometimes quite complex and long to process. Auto-resizing widget by its children's size. Implement auto-reload feature. Hopefully better with Kaki. Yeah. So hot reload again.
Yep.
Meanwhile, I'm pinging here. Can go. You ready for 000 chat?
I think he's in the. No.
Then hot reloading, only provided by KVMD. Easier teaming system, and the full team looks a little bit dated. So,
Okay.
as you might see, some of the replies are quite redundant.
Sure.
Then
That's good. Yep.
Where's GI UI designer? Oh, can go on this already. Okay. So 11, and we are back to you. Easier learning path. Then more examples using Kivy-Lang and the West GI designer program.
Yep.
Drag and drop UI generation is ability to create checkboxes or drop downs from a list. Structured checkboxes and checklists so they can be iterated over the check state of triggered behavior and make it easier to create UI. Oh, quite long here. Need a similar workflow to React Native, which the way expo is just to bring that to use, scan a QR code just to see your Hello World app within the first hour of tutorials. So getting into Kivy faster. Also defaults recommended file paths project setup. So maybe something that creates a project from scratch with some basic things. Need more examples, need better tutorials, update the wiki. A default way to package Windows and macOS. If PyInstaller is default, why is not such a pain not documented? Well, PyInstaller changes quite fast. PyInstaller have its own issues. So yeah, this is the default way, but means you have to battle yourself with PyInstaller. We can make things more easier with Bulldozer for Windows and macOS maybe. But wait, on macOS the default way is by using the Kivy.app. On Windows, yeah, it's PyInstaller. But on macOS, please use the Kivy.app. Felipe says, I have the hot reload tool that I would like to show off. Felipe, you are joining us for this session or the one later in the evening? Because I thought you were joining us later in the evening. Make build need a better GUI, get rid of the old gray buttons, just literally pick one tailwind UI and stick with it. This will also make it easier to translate Figma mockups.
Sorry, we're getting some background noise from someone on the channel. Can we mute them?
What?
We're getting someone. Oh no, it seems to have gone away. Okay, we had some noises off. It's fine. Let's move on.
Okay. Only this session I can. Okay, so let's say one chat. You're already doing great. You're already doing good with getting Julian. This is clearing out all the bugs and issues.
Thank you.
What's the first priority? is onboarding new blood, so you have more real users to deploy to platforms for money and get back to project. Okay, see you later, Felipe. You're already doing. Well, the biggest concern is not improving, but stopping Kivy from dying. We are not dying. It's very spooky that only me and Julia are busy working on Kivy. No, that's not real. There are a lot of other contributors working in Kivy, and one bad day accident. Okay, I believe that Kivy just should not be stay simple Kivy basic cross-platform. Yeah, it's just giving us some advices. Oh, a lot of them. We are reading that later.
Okay. There are certainly a number of people contributing, and I'm thankful for all of them. I do worry that you're overloaded. My role is more of a background admin. I don't have access to write to the code, like merge in code. So just editing bug reports has been my main role.
Which is super great.
Thank you.
In framework, I don't really think it would be helpful for beginners if you guys are making docs a little bit user friendly. So docs, okay, docs again. Docs, samples, and examples.
Yep.
We got it. APK file size and Android could be smaller. Oh, it's quite small. Find a way to reduce the file size of Android. Okay. Maybe we can have also here a blog post about how to make it your APK a little bit smaller. I implemented click-through testing using patch version Selenium. Something like this would be great in the core of the framework. You are doing a great job in all the other aspects. Perhaps some extra component testing tutorial for unit developers.
Is Selenium Selenium? Is that a typo, or is there another product I don't know about?
Yeah, I also think it's Selenium.
Okay.
My baby also is Selenium.
I guess I do have some ideas about officially supporting an Android emulator so that we can do that sort of testing and have that automated.
Okay.
But that can wait for the roadmap discussion.
Okay. Maintain release manpower. Shorter release cycles, issue clearing seems to get better recently with Michael and Julian. Michael, I think, is me.
Hi, Michael.
I'm not called myself Michael. Okay. Then this is the last one. Then we are getting to Kangun. So Kangun, please join the backstage. Homogeneity between Linux and Android version, and increase homogeneity between Linux and Android version. Well, I think that for this morning session about the survey is everything. Maybe we will get on it later during the evening session, or we are just posting the issues and the report that we will produce, me and Julian. So thank you, Julian, for joining me for this session.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for all the work you do.
And thank you. And now we are getting a super small break of 2 minutes to get back to Kangun and his project. See you later, guys.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Miko. Hi. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
You're
Hi, can
live.
you hear me? All right. So, my name is Kenechukwu Akubwe. All right. So, my name is Kenechukwu Akubwe, and also known as Kengun. So, I want to talk about three projects, just three. First is KvDroid. So, during the review section, a lot of people talked about notification. Hardware accelerations and all this stuff. So I think KvDroid has a whole lot of features developed with PyJnius, because the goal of KvDroid is to simplify Android API access, right? So what we did was to take those codes, those Android API, and make it accessible through PyJnius. So here, if you go to KvDroid, you can go through the documentation. It only works. This is how to install it. You have to add a user requirement, right? Is either you add the package name or you just add the master branch. So the most important of all here is the notification. For now, that's what I want to talk about on KvDroid. So it has the ability to display notification on your mobile device. It has the ability to show you image on the notification, then the tiny icon, and also a side icon by the left. I mean by the right, not really by the left. So you can broadcast. Let's say if you tap on the notification, what do you want it to perform? What action do you want it to perform? You can simply assign your actions here. KvDroid tap action notification, KvDroid action one. This for the buttons, then for replies. So that's KvDroid. KvDroid just allows you to do a whole lot of things. It has a whole lot of features, even SMS too. So moving on to the next is PyJnius Tester. So PyJnius Tester allows you to test PyJnius code live on your Android phone, right? You don't need to recompile your app. It basically allows you to run any Java code, right? All you need to do is just integrate it with PyJnius, and yeah, there you have it. PyJnius Tester just gives you the free will to do anything you like with Java on your Android phone. So you talked about some people talked about hot reloader on the review. So I was working, not really was working. I worked on a project. Let me pull it up. It's called Kivy Live. So I worked on a project called Kivy Live. So what Kivy Live does is to kind of like hot reload your project on your Android phone, right? You'll see it real time. But what it doesn't do currently is to ship uh, Java packages like Gradle, those packages you add on your Gradle dependencies. So it doesn't ship them. Excuse me.
So looks like we have a connection issue, but let's hope Cancun will be back later. We'll be back soon. Oh, so let me check it out if I can do something to get him back. we are going into a wait break, and hopefully can go with it back in soon. So sorry for the wait. Kangun had some issues with his setup, so we are now switching to Felipe, which is also presenting another project. So Felipe, now the stage is yours. Hi Felipe, we are live.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me fine? Okay, perfect. So I'd like to present, this is one of the most wanted features, like Kingu was going to present the hot reload. And I think he started a long time ago. I also started maybe 2 years ago. And I never published this project before. I published it this year. And I'm trying to make this PyPI a package, and I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. So right now, the only thing you need to do to use the hot reload, it's gonna work on macOS, Windows, Android, and Linux. I haven't tested on iOS because I don't have an iPhone, but maybe someone can test it later. So the idea is very simple. Basically you import from Kivy Reloader the app, and once you inherit from app, that's it. The hot reload is gonna start working. So for example, here I have the screen on my computer, and this is my phone. So for example, this is my real phone. And the idea is very simple. For example, let's say you're gonna create a button, right? You simply press Control S, and then the button is gonna appear on the screen. I released recently a library called Kivy widgets. It's it's trying to do the same as KivyMG is doing, like custom widgets, but it's not tied to material design rules. It's simply custom widgets. So, for example, one of the cool things about this library too is that, for example, you can use the colors from Tailwind. So if you take a look at the palette colors from Tailwind, basically you have a bunch of colors like, let's say, emerald, and then once you type it, it's gonna work. And then you have shades like from 50 until 900, and then you can simply test your things in real time. And that's the best thing we have right now, which is once you press Ctrl S, you can see the change instantly on your phone. For example, here I'm gonna create a drop down. Okay, so drop down is another widget, very cool. Basically, just set the view class of each item, and then you pass all the properties this item is gonna have. So, for example, here just item 1, 2, and 3. Very easy to work around it. Another custom widget that we have on the library, we do not have too many widgets, but we have a custom button, a custom drop down. There's the icon widget. It's very simple. Basically, you type icon and set the icon, which is, there's a bunch of icons you can simply try out. On VS Code, you have also this, how can I say? This thing that is gonna suggest some icons for you. Just press Control Space Bar. And then once you press Control S, it's gonna render on your phone and on the computer. I created 3 modes of the icon. Like by default, each size is just gonna be the size you set. So for example, I set 48 pixels. That's it. It has 48 pixels. But if you want it to stretch, for example, now it's on a box layout. So if I, on a box layout, each widget would have the same size. So if you want to stretch the icon to occupy the whole size, it can just set stretch icon. Or you could just stretch the background. You may not see the background, but if you set a BG color, for example, the background color, let's say it's sky 200. Yeah, now we can see the background color. So that's what I mean by stretching the background or not. Another widget we created recently is the text input. It's inspired on KivyMG. Also, I was taking a look at the mature design rules from Google, and we have 3 modes for the text input. For example, the text input here has the mode line as default. If you do not type anything, the mode is gonna be line. But let's say you change here the hint text, then it's gonna appear here. Once you click the hint text, it's gonna be animated upwards, and once you click outside, it's gonna disappear. It's gonna go back to its original position. Unless you type something, if you type something, once you click outside, it's gonna stay there. And then there you can change the colors of the text, everything that you can do on a normal text input, practically anything you can also do on the custom text input. There's also the helper text. You can remove it if you do not need it. And there is more modes. For example, the rectangle mode and the fill mode. Let me put here, fill mode. The difference between the rectangle mode and fill mode is, for example, on the rectangle mode, when you click, the animation is putting the word here on the top of the text input, and on the fill mode, it's gonna stay inside, like the letters won't go outside of the text input. So these are one of the coolest things I was thinking that Kivy was needing. One is the hot reload tool. And this hot reload tool comes with another thing which is very cool, which is a compilation utility. So it's very simple. So for example, if you create a script, let's say from Kivi Reloader, import compile app, it's a specific class, okay, that's gonna have a lot of functions. If you type start, this is what's gonna happen. So for example, it's gonna ask you to choose an option. You can compile or you can just debug. So for example, if you just type compile and debug, it will start the log catch for you, and you could see the log catch on the string. And if you type 1 and click on compile, it's going to start the compilation process. It's very easy. So it's some shortcuts for using Bulldozer, basically. And that's it. That's it for now. We have this compilation tool and the hot reload tool.
So thank you, Felipe, about that. Well, maybe you can write a blog post about that for our blog that we are going to have, because we are going to refresh the blog soon. So yeah.
Okay, I'd love to create some blog posts about it. I was creating a blog here on this page called Kivy School that
nice.
I was thinking on creating some tutorials and challenges for people that are starting to learn. I'm still building it with a friend. I'd like to invite anyone to help. Everything is open source.
Great.
So, but I was thinking maybe if Kivy blog is gonna, I'm not sure what you guys are going to do with it. If you're gonna just archive it, just let it how it is, or it's gonna update it again.
No, but the idea is to refresh completely the Kivy blog and start talking about what I did with Kivy. This is my project with Kivy, so a community maintained blog, actually, which also needs to be quite SEO oriented in order to improve our reachability on the web. So projects like this one and guides, as we seen previously with Julian, while talking about all the replies we had from the surveys, a lot of people are asking for examples, hot reloading, samples, more documentation. More documentation is not always improving the docs, so how you can use this API, but also improving things like the example you are showing right now. So if we join the forces and we improve that blog, we can also host something like that. We are free to leave it open to trusted contributors, which are going to write down some code, some experiences, etc., etc.
And what do you think about, for example, the MK docs? That's one of the issue I had with the Kivy documentation. Like people were saying that you can do the same with Sphinx. So, but the thing is, I always, when I started actually doing things on MK docs, I realized that it's very simple to create a lot of good explanations, and I'm not sure how easy it is to do with these things. I was reading some discussion on GitHub issues, and I
Yeah.
remember when I talked with T-shirt man once, maybe he said that he could somehow put some pages containing this kind of view, or just having the support, for example, because um not sure if everyone knows to do the like this kind of things with these things, like this kind of widgets, because they come ready in MK docs. It's just like ready-made components.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, the issue is migrating everything to MEK docs. So I don't think it's bad. MEK docs. Think is maybe a great tool, but we are not something new that starts from scratch and
Is
moving.
it some no? But I wouldn't think to remove anything from its things. But can we add something, like add support to MK docs at least? For example, if I'm starting a new page, can we have both?
We can try with some Nginx roles to mix two different contexts, or by creating something that mix up AMK docs and RST and things. Yeah, we can talk about that. If that can help to write better docs and can help to write better examples, I'm all in, even if that means having a lot of work to do.
Hmm.
So we can talk about that. Let me know what you need. We can try to get it possible.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Thank you, Mirko.
Thank you, Felipe. So if you're handed, I'm switching back again to a break time, and then when Cancun is ready, we are switching back again to Cancun. So if you're
Okay.
handed everything, okay, we are taking it back, and thank you, Felipe.
Thank you, my friend.
So we are now back with Kangoo that fixed the issues he had with the laptop. So welcome on this stage, Kangoo. Welcome back on the stage.
Welcome back on the stage. Thank you, Miko. Thank you. Sorry, guys, network issues. So I was talking about Kivy-Live-Ui. I listened a lot to what
Um,
Philip March said, and yeah, is there any issues?
no issues.
Okay, so I think he has already gone far with his work, and yeah, what I'm trying to do currently on Kivy-Live-Ui is to revamp the whole thing because the structure, how it was built, was a little bit clunky. Though it's functional, but it's clunky. So currently, I wouldn't advise anybody to use it at this stage. So what I'm trying to do is to revamp, but I'm hoping to see what Philip Merch will come up with, and that's great. So outside of Kivy Live, I'll pause on Kivy Live because I saw some question on Twitch says, can you receive notification with the app minimized? I think the person is talking about KvDroid. Yes, of course. KvDroid notifications works with background services. So if you integrate it very well, you would be receiving notifications with background services. The best way to use it is to use Firebase FCM notifications. It's quite hard to integrate Firebase with Kivy at the moment because you have to make some changes behind the scene on the Python for Android repo. So what I did was to create uh, SD Firebase Python, right? So this allows you to integrate Firebase on your application. With it, you can also use FCM notifications in case you want to use it. How to use it, the usage guides are here. So instead of using Kivy repo, I think I've created an issue on Kivy GitHub. So whenever they fix it, we can switch back. So instead of using Kivy fork, you can use simple genius fork and set the branch to Firebase. So together you can use anything concerning Firebase and FCM notifications to push your notifications in the background in case you want that. So back to KvDroid, there is something that I really want to talk about on that notification aspect. I took out time to write a whole lot of documentation on notification alone because notification has so many features bundled into it. Um, so what I did here, so okay, let's go through the example. First, if you need to color your icon, notification icon on the left, the tiny icon on the left, I wish I could show you guys, but I can't currently present my phone on my screen because I'm making use of it right now for video camera. So, okay, now you have to import these action notifications, KvDroid tap action notification, KvDroid action 1 notification, KvDroid reply notification. This is just for the button or if you tap on the notification, and also for replying on the notification. So this is kind of like a broadcast service. When you click or touch it, what happens? If you click it, you have to write a broadcast service down here, create a broadcast service. So these are your actions. The actions you want to listen on, this is your callback. So your callback is going to accept some arguments. So get notification broadcast, you have to check on the intent. The intent will have to include any of these, right? So let's check if perform, okay. So when you call get notification broadcast, it calls perform intent action. Now you check here, perform intent action, this is the function. So it checks if value is equals to get extra string tap. If it is the tap, you tap on the notification. Yeah, you perform the actions you want to perform. If it is get extra string action 1, which is tapping on any of the buttons. Notification comes with buttons if you want to include them. So if you tap on any of it, yeah, that's what gets executed. So if you replied, for you to be able to get a reply out of the text, out of the notification reply space, you have to use this get notification reply intent. So I think I created that function here. Yeah. So you can import it from the KvDroid.tools.notifications, import it, and yeah, use this to extract the text so you can print the reply from the text. This works also in the background service in case you want to perform some actions behind the scene. Maybe you're building a messaging app, someone says a message in the background, you reply in the background too. From the notification reply, send the notification Firebase storage, or you can do it on any other database of your choice. So before you use it, I would advise you read carefully on the documentation here. So these are the all parameters. All the whole parameters are here. So you can just go through it to know in details what each of the parameter does. So it pretty works both background, foreground, and on a normal app too. So KvDroid has other cool functions like you can check his package enabled. Okay, checking if a certain package exists on your Android phone. You can get all main activities that exist on that specific Android phone. System packages. Also, it has WebView toolkits. This kind of like okay. This one gets a cookie. Let me look for the one that brings up WebView. This for Android only. Okay, I think maybe we do include the documentation here. We didn't include that. So you can get cookies from the browser on the WebView. Yeah, the WebView still. So you can get cookies from it. Maybe you want to do some, I don't know, whatever actions you want to do with the cookies, you can get the cookies. So the WebView it makes use of is the Chromium tab. I don't know if I can get into, okay, let's see. Let me try to go inside of KvDroid folder and pull up the tool. So I'm looking for, yeah, WebKit. Okay, so yeah, you launch it. Once you hit this launch URL, when you call this function launch URL, what it creates is a custom tab. So you have to have Chrome installed on that device before these functions. So what we are trying to do currently is to include Microsoft Edge and other browsers. But the main goal now is Microsoft Edge and Firefox. If that will be possible, I don't know how possible that will be. It's quite tough though. So yeah. So if you go through KvDroid, you see a whole lot of features it came with. Network, you can check whether Wi-Fi is on or off. Part SMS, you can send SMS, read SMS too. Phone calls, you can make calls, yeah. Change to dark mode or check if dark mode exists on the mobile device. You can also read contacts, yeah, contacts are there. So that's it for KvDroid. Then one last tool I want to showcase before I time off is MVC for Kivy. So this is a tool I forked from KivyMD. KivyMD has MVC pattern tool, which allows you to kind of like create a project template, right, in MVC pattern, model view controller. So what I did in MVC for Kivy is to extend the functionality of. I don't want to create a pull request though, because I'm having a hard time with Git, and yeah, I don't want to get on anyone's toes. So yeah. Uh, so here you have you can create a project, right? Uh, right. When you create a project, you state what pattern it is. So it has the capability of lazy loading, right? You don't need to create or write the code for lazy loading yourself. Though Cluton has a project already on lazy loading. So, but I included lazy loading here for MVC pattern. Yeah. So you state, after stating the MVC, the pattern, you state the project directory where your project will exist, right? And then you state what the name of the project will be. So your project will be created inside of your project directory. Then you state what Python version and Kivy version you need to use. But currently, these two are not functional. You need to just put anything you like there. But for now, later on, work on that. Okay. Then the extra features that I added that does not exist on KVMD's MVC pattern is, uh, let me see, remove view. Yeah. So KVM's MVC pattern does not have remove view, so I added remove view. And also in MVC for Kivy, you have the ability to kind of like push data around. Let me pull up the code to show you what I mean by pushing data around. So create project. Extra. Put extra. Okay, yeah, there it is. So with put extra, get extra, remove extra, you don't need to access widgets from far away screens. You kind of like, okay, let me put it for example this way. You have two screens and you want to get a data from the first screen. You don't have to reference that screen, say app.screen manager.id whatever screen dot the label. No. All you need to do in whatever screen you create, this is subclass on the whole screen. So whatever screen you create, all you need to do is just to put extra, the key of the value, the key and the value, which means, let's say you want to extract a label, a text, right? The value should be text and the key should be whatever thing you name it, right? So on whatever screen you are on, you can easily use get extra to extract the value. So you can also remove extra too. Like, so I kind of like built it like Android. I don't know if you have developed app with Java or Kotlin. You kind of like deal with put extras and get extras. So I kind of like made it look like that. So it's kind of like a single thing which can be accessed from any screen. So that's basically it. Sorry, I have no visuals. I'm currently not with my whole setup, and yeah, that's it for now. Thank you, Miko. Thank you for the opportunity to present this project.
And thank you about all these tools. And as someone said, in the chat, we are waiting for what to see some videos about all these things.
Yeah, sorry, I wanted to put in some screenshots, but nah, couldn't fix the whole thing up though.
But for the future,
It will be quite.
But for the future,
Yeah.
As I said to Felipe, it will be nice to add all the things into our blog posts, or if you can add something to the main Kivy projects, like adding something to garden, feel free to ask for that, and we are adding these projects to the garden.
Ask for that, and we are adding these projects to the garden.
Okay, that's great. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be glad to work on a blog post for these tools.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So if that's all, I've looked at our Discord chat.
That's all. I've
I
looked
think
at
we
our
will
Discord
see
chat.
everyone back at
I think we will see everyone
for the
back
evening session.
at for the evening session.
So thank you, Kango, and thank you for being here today. And well, see you everyone later. See you everyone later this evening. So have a nice break. Thank you everyone for joining us today, and see you in the evening. Bye.